Welcome to Podcasting with Connor. If you couldn't tell, I am Connor, and for the better part of the last half decade, I have worked in audio. I've worked at radio stations, including the NPR-affiliated Oregon Public Broadcasting. I've worked as a podcast editor for a number of companies, and I've started my own podcasts. A bit about me: I am a comedian and content creator. I love the challenge and reward of making people laugh, and I love having a creative idea and using the tools at hand to make it a reality. The reason why I love podcasting and audio specifically is because it has a low barrier to entry, it's fairly inexpensive to get into, and it's a foundational piece of a lot of digital multimedia content. In short, podcasting and audio was the perfect way for me to get started as a content creator. But podcasting isn't just good for independent creators. Podcasting is good for businesses too. As Anchor, the podcast distributor and now subsidiary of Spotify, said, podcasting is an intimate medium. By speaking directly into the ears of your customers, you're communicating with them in a powerful and personal way. Unlike traditional marketing channels, which tend to be carefully curated, podcasts are often casual and unfiltered. Even if your podcast follows a general script or outline, your voice adds a human element to a business and gives listeners an authentic feel for the personality of your brand. If you think about it, podcasting is relatively low barrier to entry and low cost. Think of 1, 2, or 3 microphones plus a mixer over the lifetime of your podcast, plus maybe a reasonably priced audio editor. You're looking at a more personal and authentic way of advertising that costs less than paying for Google Ads. As I said, I am a comedian and content creator, but in order to feed that creativity and that content drive, I am a podcast editor. Whether you're an independent creator who's looking to spend more time on recording or pre-production, or a business that's trying to get their brand out there in a more authentic way, I'm here to help you. You can connect with me through social media or through my website, which has a link in the description of this episode for more details. Or as some people say, details. Through this channel, I will be providing insights and advice on how to podcast. Not only will I be sharing videos on how to enhance your own audio quality through editing, I'll also be sharing the knowledge I've learned since starting my first podcast and what I've gained in almost a half decade in audio editing and hundreds, if not over 1,000 hours editing audio. Before asking you to check out the rest of this channel and subscribe and like that video, all that good stuff that really helps me out, here's a brief story about how I started out in audio. I graduated from the University of Oregon in 2018 with a Bachelor of Science in Journalism. My last year and a half at the University of Oregon, I was the news director of KWVA Eugene, the University of Oregon's college radio station. There, all our content was automated, which means it was pre-recorded and edited. While I was at KWVA, I was fortunate enough to interview a Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer, the former head editor of the BuzzFeed News app, and the founder of the Solutions Journalism Network. But I was equally fortunate to have the final edit over all our content. I oversaw more than 100 hours of automated content. In editing audio, I tend to find a 3-to-1 ratio of editing time to recording time is roughly accurate for straightforward interviews, which is what I did a lot of at KWVA. So in addition to the curve of learning the editing software, it's safe to say I spent more than 300 hours editing audio just at my college radio station. But I didn't work on audio just at KWVA. I started a podcast. Good News, a podcast. Now, Good News, a podcast is a story to unpack at a different time. But what's important to note is that my senior year of college, I scripted, edited, recorded, along with my co-hosts, the fantastic Olivia Howe and Matt Gady, a podcast that was recognized by Anchor as the top podcast on the rise for more than a week. If you're interested in podcasting, here's where you're going to want to pay attention. If you want to create a podcast, you don't need a lot to make it sound professional. All you need is a recorder, a mic stand, a few XLR cables, and some editing software. What I used when recording Good News a Podcast was a Zoom H6, a couple dynamic broadcasting mics, a few XLR cables, mic stands, and Adobe Audition. And with just that equipment, I was able to create a podcast that was listed as a top podcast of the week right below Malcolm Gladwell's Revisionist History. I hope that provides you with a bit more insight into me, Connor, the Connor behind Podcasting with Connor. And please do subscribe to this channel, check out all my videos, and connect with me on social media. Yeah, check them out, these videos. Happy podcasting, everyone.